ever have a situation where, you got under like some fluorescent lights or like some pulsating, stuff, and then like your eyes are still like doing the thing? Like, yeah, right now I'm seeing like
Why?
it's kind of
Why?
crazy. Yeah. I don't know. I was doing a pre-ride inspection on my bike because I just got back from registering vehicles here in the Sunshine State. And I was doing pre-ride inspection. I haven't ridden the bike in 2 months. It's just been collecting dust, airing up the tires, this and that, checking the lights. And I looked at my beautiful LED headlights that I installed on
Oh,
the bike, and I was like, "Whoa, there's that." Yeah. So
how close were you?
close enough.
That could burn your eyes a little bit.
Well, it's just that fast, and then at the DMV, right? They're running the fluorescents everywhere. Anyway, so I'm getting a little depth perception thing going on here, but I rode home just fine, so that's good. I guess I'm officially a Floridian now. So
On.
yeah, what?
I
Yeah.
said not on. You wrote home.
Right, right, right. Actually, where I learned to ride was in Los Angeles, of all places. I had never ridden before, and then I
Wow.
got this idea. It's something that there'll be a topic in here, so just give me a second. But it's something that when you walk into a Harley dealer, it's like a whole experience. Like you see the chrome, you smell the leather. It's just like a lifestyle. It's more than just a mode of transportation. Julia's here. What? Gail, Catherine. Hey, you guys. Good to see you all.
That's how I feel about
Um,
pocketbooks when I get the smell of a pocketbook.
yeah, yeah. Well, whatever does it for you. So welcome everyone to our mastermind group here for Thursday, the 3rd of March. And I am not dressed, I'm dressed for success with, riding down the road. But John Lavenia, good to see you. I've got, I've had a bunch of stuff thrown in my lap today. Not only did I just have the experience, well, that was an appointment, right? So go do the car registration thing, but also I've got things that have been thrown in my lap in terms of work stuff. So right now, I've got people waiting to hear from me who probably want to buy stuff, right? But I'll tell you what, this right here, this event that we do every day is for me, like the show must go on kind of a thing. That is something that takes precedence over everything else, right? Now, right after this, I've got a session, Missy knows, with another group where I've got to fill in for somebody who's under the weather again. So I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up. So what's the topic in all this? Why am I bringing all this up to you? I'm gonna get back to every single client who wants to participate in whatever capacity with all of my different organizations, the different businesses that I run. I'm going to do that. That's going to happen. And I texted the one person who's waiting on me. I was like, man, I'm on the road. I'm going to get with you ASAP. No problem. Looking forward to talking with you. So you see that communication that just happened to do what? To reassure them that they're not forgotten, which a lot of people feel like they are or actually are, right? I get emails all the time that come through customer service departments and stuff like that. And I see the thread, right? Where did this customer go astray? This customer went astray because so-and-so didn't call them like they said they would, like was on their calendar. They dropped the ball, right? And so this person's feeling what? Neglected or, not heard and whatever, right? So what is the strong suit here? What is the principle upon which I'm observing right now my own day and how it's going so far, and how it's going to go further, and why not only myself but others are going to profit from my operating strategy. What is that operating strategy? What is the principle? The principle is show up, show the F up. So the title of my first book, Integrity is Everything, pretty much reveals it. Yeah, I think that pretty much says it. Right. So here's one item. Here's one thing, one practice that we could practice, and that is showing up because we said we would. That is a high integrity action. That doesn't sound terribly profound. So what? You showed up. I'll tell you. So what? That's like 90% of it. That's like 90% of it. I see so often with people who want to become successful in this or that business, fitness, life, whatever. They want to become successful, and then they don't show up. And then it's interesting to assign blame, which is another way of saying assign cause. Not here, but over there, it's because of the circumstances. It's because of that person. It's because fill in the blank with whatever spectacular excuse. You guys remember John Appinger? I know you remember just a couple of days ago where I talked about missing the gym, being out of my routine, and I had some great excuses. And who wants to hear them? Nobody wants to hear them. Thank you for not. Well, you guys actually did want to hear them, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going there. Okay, there's no reason to validate your voyeurism of my failings. So, so in that way, we get to not be cause, not be responsible, be a victim. I had a conversation with, this is going to be good. Here's what's about to come out of my mouth. I had a conversation with a business partner the other day who I'm mentoring and helping them get up to speed with becoming proficient and quite profitable with one of our ventures here. And they had other priorities that came up right at the time, right after they committed to these priorities. And so they became quiet, they became absent. And I confronted them on this. And I brought up something called a code of honor. Has anyone heard of a code of honor? So these are precepts and ideas that you could adhere to. And I might be able to pull up one right now. And there's a few different versions of this, but one of the items, one of the precepts or axioms in the code of honor is that I'm thinking of a couple of them right now. One of them is that your own integrity is more valuable than your body. This is something I think we could relate to people who have sacrificed even their life for the freedom of their nation, or things, hopefully something resourceful and not just some wild thing that they were fed by a government or other criminal organization. So that is where this body is not as important as my integrity. Another one, and the one that's coming up for me right now, is that you never turn your back on an ally once allegiance is granted. Once allegiance is granted, you never turn your back on that ally. So I offered my friend this. I said, I will never turn my back on you. I need you to start showing up. I guess another way to say that would be, if you want to have a friend, you need to be a friend. Anybody heard that? I mean, it sounds kind of cliche, perhaps, but the way to have a friend is to be a friend. The way to have allies, and who doesn't need allies, especially in this shit show of a planet that we get to walk around in right now. And it's not all bad. Again, I'm not looking to validate or complain, or be, condemnatory. But there's problems. Could you use some allies, or is it, Julia against the world? Is that the game that we're playing here? Julia against the world? Gale versus the Milky Way galaxy? Probably not, right? I think you'll lose that deal. You could use some allies, because when we confront the problems of life, and here's all of our the things that we need to get done, and the accomplishments that we intend to accomplish. When we do that, there are certain things which you as the individual, me as the individual, I go and I show up, and I am cause over that situation. And it's within my circle of influence. I have causation, responsibility, effectiveness. I have an effect. Because it affects me, I can affect it. But then when we expand out from that, there's got to be a group effort here. Things which affect my family. Here's an example. My daughter wants this. Anybody know what aerial silks are? Aerial silks. So it's basically a curtain that's attached to the top, and there's two halves of the curtain that hang down, like way down. And then you do gymnastics, you do various yoga postures, right? There's all kinds of fitness benefits to this, and this is a form of gymnastics that she has become very interested in. So we got her into the local dance and gymnastics, circus, whatever. They actually teach like circus stuff, right? There's like, things hanging from the ceiling, and I don't, anyway. And she's all into it. She's found it. This is her thing. And she wants aerial silks at the house. Okay. My daughter pretty much gets everything she wants, but I'm thinking, all right, so there's this thing called gravity, and there's the ground there, and then you're off the ground. And you're a total novice at this. And I'm thinking, I'm a player. I just want to make sure it's safe. So I talked to the instructor, and I said, she's really into this. He's like, yeah, she's great. She's been to like 2 classes, and she wants to get like aerial silks, for the house. He's like, oh yeah. Well, here's a document. And it was a 3-page dissertation on the considerations, liabilities, et cetera, of doing this at home. And at what point might you be qualified to do it at home, rather than, strangling yourself or whatever, losing a limb. So, without supervision. And so he gave me that. I brought it home. She did her exercises, right? We went home. And then, I said, hey, here's the document that your very nice instructor gave us about getting these aerial silks for the house. Why don't you go ahead and read it? I'm saying this to my daughter, and she's a very advanced reader. But go ahead and read this, and we'll discuss it as a family. Then I had to get back to work because I was showing up, not only in my daughter's life, but also now showing up for clients and people who were expecting me to show up. So I did my work, made a bunch of money, which is cool, and then came back out. And my daughter originated, you know what? I'm not going to get the aerial silks. I mean, maybe like the aerial, yoga hammock or something, but I'm not ready for the aerial silks. So this was, and Shannon, my wife, was there as well. So apparently they had a little bit of a discussion about it, but I just gave her the data that we could all now look objectively at the data, and we can make a decision as a family, because this affects the whole family. Turns out you need liability riders on your insurance, or you could be sued out of your house, and I'm like, whoa. So not just my considerations as a loving father. I don't want my daughter to plummet to her death or dismemberment, but lots of considerations about this. Well, I don't know. She didn't either. Well, now we know. And so as a family, we got to make a different decision. Now, had I attempted to solve that myself, and not included the self-determinism of other people who are also going to have to show up in that scenario. So now here's the stuff hanging from a tree or whatever, and here's all the liability. So this is a problem that affects the whole family, which I attempted to hypothetically, right, just go ahead and, as an authoritarian, make a decision on that. Now, my proclivities are, just say yes, right, because I want to give her what she wants. Okay, but I knew to think further on that. So that's a small expansion out from here's this individual to here's a few individuals which make up a group. Now we have bigger groups, bigger spheres of influence, and we can attack bigger problems, but we all have to show up. So let's say we're all in business together, okay? And we make a pact. We say, all right, we are going to show up. We are going to accomplish this. And not that we all have exactly the same skills. We're not clones, okay? But here's your post and here's your post, right? And so we all show up on that post. But Sally over here, we don't have any Sallys in the room right now, so we'll use Sally as the scapegoat, okay? But Sally over here doesn't show up on her post. The whole mission is compromised. Think of it like a ship, like a battleship or something, right? Here's the captain, here's the cook, here's the deckhand, here's the gunner, right? And there's multiple people that man these different posts, but the captain is not the gunner. I don't know. You do something, whatever you guys do with the guns. I do a good job, thank you. I'm going to make sure we don't hit rocks. Okay, so that's my job. Know your post. Know your post. And if people are off post or abandon their post, not only is that a chink in the armor of the entire operation, but what are the emotional effects of that? I was counting on Sally, and she didn't man the guns. Next thing you know, we're maybe taking a torpedo. But if nothing else, I can't trust Sally anymore. Sally is no longer an ally. Sally has become a liability. I'm sorry if there's any Sally seeing this right now. I just had to pick a name out of the hat. Now, the question then for me, and probably the reason why I show up, right? Because I said I was going to, is because I want people's trust. To have a friend, be a friend. To be trustworthy, will be worthy of trust then, right? To have trusting relationships, to have real allies in life, right? Well, then go be an ally. Go be the rock that people can build on, not the shifting sand, the rock. And because that's important to me, and perhaps this is, I don't know, I suppose we could say overcompensation for childhood, social problems or whatever. But it's very important to me that I'm seen in the marketplace and amongst my family, my peers, my groups, the community, as someone who could be relied upon. Now, does that sound special or something? Or I mean, to me, it doesn't. To me, it sounds like, as a matter of course, you said you're going to do it, you friggin' do it. I mean, that's it. But what's with all these people that want to be successful? But here's insert excuse, unreliable. So I suppose the topic then is, and I'm not going to, because I'm just thinking right now, I'm not pulling up exhibits, but we could go down this road if you guys would like. What is your code of honor? There's the topic. What are the principles upon which you shall not sway? And are they those which attract other, like-minded people, other principle-centered people, other on-purpose people, allies, people you want in your life? So you can take your own inventory and you can say, well, you know what, here's where, I've been impeccable, and here's where I've been out. None of us have arrived, okay? But something as basic as not turning your back on allies once allegiance is granted, I mean, that's, I think, pretty obvious. We could take this to an interesting extreme, though. So here's the person who's loyal to a fault, which I have been. And they go down with the ship, metaphorically speaking. Okay, so there is also a time to understand, and I know some of you have been through this recently, a time to understand that when allegiance is no longer based on anything, is no longer based on principles or production or something of worth and use and value to a common group. Okay, well then that group is broken, and now, well, how much time are you going to spend around them? Even if it's family members, right? I mean, don't go as often, don't stay as long, right? Make nice small talk. Yeah, the weather is great. Yeah, very nice. So I like what they did with the roads over here. But the majority of the time we spend doing this whole life thing, I think it can be an on-purpose action. So if we don't have common purposes, well, is that allegiance even there, right? So this is another thing that we can assess, for ourselves, is who do we have in our lives, who we would like to have in our lives, and is it time for a house cleaning, so to speak. Now, a lot of times other people will do this for you. I know a couple of you here have had that experience where you suddenly, you turned a corner in life and you're like on the incline, you're producing, you're like accelerating in life, and then here are these other people who used to be friendly with you when you were kibitzing and co-miserating about everything that's wrong in the world, but now you're not in that conversation anymore, and they, ooh, what's this? Here's a crab climbing out of the bucket. Let me pull them back in. And if you refuse to be pulled back in, what's wrong with you? There is such a thing as suppressive people. Right? People that the only way to build themselves up is to cut you down, right? God help you if you've got allegiance or blind allegiance or infinite loyalty to that sort of a personality. You'll have all kinds of stuff going on in your life that you can't explain. Why is everything going wrong? So watch out for invalidation, watch out for things like that. Big topic. But the considerations that I'm going to leave you with here today, which I'd love to hear from you guys. I've been talking 20 minutes already. The considerations are about how you show up. Starts at home, right? How do I show up? And then as a member of this group, this family, this organization, this company, right? How do I show up? Right. And then looking around, and this isn't to be judgmental, okay, but just assessing as objectively as you can. How is that person showing up? How is that person showing up? Are they reliable? Would I trust my life to that person, so to speak? And that's pretty extreme, okay. But I trust my life to, people, some of these people in this group right here, right? Some of us have never met in person. Missy, I've never met you in person, but I know you like I know, yeah, I know you better than I know some of my own family, So are you in the right place with these various groups that you show up in? But I think the bottom line for me, and now I'm going to shut up, is I intend to be reliable. I intend to show up. You can count on me. And I'm about to show up in another group where, well, the person's sick, right? So that's valid, right? So it's not an accusation. But why are they sick? That's a question. Anyway, what do you guys think about this? Whatever this topic is, code of honor. And what are your thoughts about this? And how have you confronted this in your life, or have you not confronted it? Because there's a bit to confront there. John Apogee.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Couple of things. One of the things you talked about was showing up. And I used to do sales training for Firestone, and I used to travel around the country and go into the regions and teach the guys in the store how to sell high performance tires. Right. One of the things we used to do is when we got into a region, we used to silent shop the stores and see how they were doing things so that we could help them later on. And one of the first things we always look for was how we were greeted. Excuse me, how we were greeted, and if we were greeted, and how long it took to be greeted when we went into a store. And we had kind of a 5-minute rule. It was like, if nobody acknowledged us in 5 minutes, we left the store. And then we talked about that store, when in our training. All you had to do was, an acknowledgement was like when you walked in the door, it was like, hi, I'll be with you in a minute, anything like that. Just to I've acknowledged your presence. I appreciate you being here. Mm-hmm. And, so that was one of the first things that we used to tackle when we used to go into these stores and trying to help these guys be better salespeople. The other thing is, I guess we had a code of honor. I don't think we called it that, but we had a couple of things that we did. And one of them was be on time. And I like your thing. If you can't be on time, be early. I've kind of adopted that. That's I try to do that.
That's sticky, isn't it? I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the second thing we always had was you never said, I don't know, to a question. It was always, oh, that's interesting. Let me find out if you didn't know the answer. Because once you found out a question, then now you know that answer. You've logged it in your database, and the next time that question comes up, you know how to answer it. But it was never, I don't know, and let it go from there. It's like it was the worst thing you could do. And the other thing we had was a commitment to I guess the term today is personal growth. Training, reading, things like that. We used to kind of help, hey, here's some of the books you guys should be reading. We used to do incorporate some stuff in our seminars. There were 1.5 day long seminars in each thing. And so we used to do those. And it was that was one of the things we tried to incorporate. So those are the 3 things that we always tried to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, right there, just those 3 things, that's a fantastic start. And if people just did those, that's infinitely better than not doing them. And I will tell you that from there, people can originate their own, right? So the person who's doing personal growth, You don't need to be told 50,000 times to greet the customer when they walk in, right? How many problems take care of themselves when we get the people right? I think it was it Hilton who said, we don't teach our people to be nice. We just hire nice people, or something to that effect. Right. So the foundation of it was who's doing it. Beautiful stuff. Interesting that you would walk into a retail establishment and have 5 minutes to yourself without, meeting someone else who, assumingly, they get paid for, serving the customer. Maybe they're even on commission. I don't know, right? So, but I just walked into a store just the other day, John. What was it? Anyway, I walked in, and even the woman, as she was ringing someone up behind the counter, welcome, Ace Hardware. Does that sound right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's, by the way, we've got one of the top 2 or 3 biggest Ace Hardwares, maybe even number 1 in North America, like a block from my house. It's like a Ace Hardware wonderland, like every fastener you can imagine. I need this specific metric bolt and that. Yeah. What kind of material would you make? Like stainless steel? Here's the, the other grades. Like they got everything. Love it. Love it. Handyman's dream. John, you were going to say?
Yeah, and all those Ace Hardwares are all independently owned.
Right.
Yeah. So, what was I going to say? You were tired. Oh, yeah. Well, because walking into the store and not greeting the customer, and those stores were set up so that there were specific areas of the store for specific tires. So it was observing where the customer went and what they were looking at was the great way to start your conversation with the customer. Oh, I see you're looking at performance tires today. What can I help you with? It was like, as opposed to just ignoring them, you start a conversation. Well, why are you here today? Which is kind of a typical opening question for those guys.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. Now, John, not to sit on this too long, but you did work with like professional racers and things like this. So I don't know if they were the people showing up to buy tires at a retail store, or if they had a contract with Firestone or Goodyear or whatever. But were you dealing with were you like a pro customers? Like, we buy 100 tires a month, and was that what it was?
Not for us. This was going back into the early 80s when performance tires were first gone. You remember the 1980, I think it was 84 Corvette was the first car that came out with these big wide performance tires, and everybody started buying them.
Right.
And our guys didn't know how to sell them. Firestone had, hey, we have a $29.95 tire. And if it's one size bigger, it's 39. If it's one other size bigger, it's 49 and so on. And all of a sudden we come out and go like, hey, here's a tire that's $250. And so you get a set of them, it's $1,000. And these guys in the store was like, why would anybody spend $1,000 on a tire? And we literally had to teach them how to do that. I mean, I used to do autocrosses with it to take them out, and I'd rent 3 like Camaros, one with OEM tires on them, one with what's called a +1 setup, and one's with a +2 setup on it, and let them drive them. And they would go, oh, I get it now. And because these guys, most of them not to rag on a particular area, but we had areas like some places in Texas where the guys that were hired in the store initially couldn't even sign their name. An X was fine to get into the store. Okay. And then it was like, oh, okay, you're sweeping a broom this week. Next week, hey, Joe left the sales force, so you're up in the showroom.
Right.
And so that was what we had to deal with to go in and train these guys on performance tires.
Right. Yeah. Talking to them about the nuances of vulcanized rubber and speed ratings and all this. Yeah. Make your mark. All right. Got it. All right. Missy.
Who else? I let somebody else go first today.
Look at that. Yeah.
I will tell you my code of honor that has become, I never thought of it as a code of honor. I just thought it was what you had to do. God, family, country, duty to the aforementioned. I've always been loyal. I've always been a protector and a defender. But that caused me to start looking for trouble because I didn't have the proper mindset for these things. And coming here to this place has now given me the proper framework to use what are good qualities to live by them in a more productive manner than just, ready to, I was ready to die for my father. I was afraid they were going to come take him out of the house. No way. They were going to have to shoot me to get him out. And remembering that I am cause, I'm catching myself now. When if I start, it's like the little thing goes, no, you're not doing that. And journeying to be the best me. And I know I'm never going to get there. And that used to depress me. Now it excites me because nobody can ever get there in this realm, but I'm still going to be what do you say? It's infinitely better than who I was. And I'm showing up as a different person. And this place did that for me. I should have been able to do it for myself, but I didn't, because I let myself be affected for so long from this stupid thing that happens to me, this dysautonomia. And, but so good qualities have now become more effective, really, truly a code of honor. And I would stand in front of whoever, for a dear friend or even a stranger, a kid, whoever. I would go into I would have done that anyway. But now I have better reasons for it other than just lunacy. You know what I'm saying? Just, I'll go. And that has made me more effective as a person in things I'm doing. And I don't have to write nasty letters anymore. And it's just, I don't know. Thank you. I could say I could just write a thank you, like on a blackboard, over and over and over to you in this place, and all the people in this group. Ivia yesterday, I think it was yesterday. No, the day before Ivia with the diamond. That night I went to bed and I feel like I'm going to pop out of the ground. I feel some growth. I mean, I don't know if you're supposed to feel that, but I literally feel like I'm going to pop out of the ground and something new is going to happen. I've never felt that feeling before in my entire life.
Wow.
So I really believe I'm going places, and it's thanks to this place. So God bless you, and Shannon, and all your ideals that you do live by. And you do show up in a car in traffic in Texas with the trucks driving next to you, and sick with a sore throat and shooting or whatever you're doing. But so really, and God bless everybody here. It's transformed me already. Thank you.
Thank you, Missy. So are you supposed to feel like you're shooting up out of the ground? I don't know. There's no supposed to's, but yeah, I mean, that's valid, right?
I feel like something's going to pop for me in my life.
Right.
That's something really good.
Well, and we read the Neville Goddard book, the Law and the Promise, right? And he got into some, that last chapter was kind of far out, with some of the manifestations.
You don't understand him. That's what.
Well, yeah, it was, yeah. Anyway, yeah, whatever, trip you're on, right? All I can tell you is it's working. So
thank you.
Love you, Missy. All right. Hey, you know what? A couple people we haven't heard from in a while. I'm going to call out one of, she just unmuted her microphone anyway. I wanted to hear from Julia, and look at that. The power of intention. Julia.
Something like that. Well, I think one of my things is very much the allegiance that you mentioned. And I have been being a friend, a trusted ally to a dear friend of mine who is, two dear friends of mine. One has Alzheimer's, early Alzheimer's, and the other one has an autoimmune disease that is going down a very bad way. So I have been their ally and supporter, and that's where much of my attention has been going. And often it happens to be at 11 o'clock and all that sort of thing. And I'm at their disposal. So it's not that I don't love all of you. I do. but I also have other priorities, which I think I am needed more there than I am needed here, even though it's nice to feel that I'm a part of a group where my input matters somewhat as well. So I just want to say that I'm still your ally, and I'm still here, and I'll do whatever I can for you, but sometimes I have to be elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, thank you for showing up for those people who you obviously have an important role to play in their experience. So, I mean, none of us go through this alone, right? So thank you, Julia. And I hold you in high esteem, whether I see you here every day or not. I mean, we have so many members who just watch the replays. So good to see you guys too. But I mean, we've got an intimate group here today. Now, personally, I would personally like to see more people participate. And I mean, there's something I could do about that. I could promote this whole forum and attract some new members. And we got some new members here. One of them's here with us right now. But people can do what they like. I just know for myself that being in the conversation of success consistently has been an unfair advantage, right? People want advantages. People want to succeed in this or that, right? Well, show up. It's back to the same topic we were talking about before, right? But our self-image, which we can never consistently outperform, right? Our autopilot, so to speak, our innermost expectations about ourselves, which actually makes our decisions for us. Well, that right there, it would be something we could look at for people who have become inconsistent in their life or in this or that practice. So I think in that way, for myself, once again, being consistent with these studies and these conversations has been transformational and a maintenance, right? So John, sold tires or taught people how to sell tires to Corvette owners or whatever, right? Well, guess what? Just because you bought the tires today doesn't mean you're not going to buy them again. You're going to come back and buy them again, right? Especially after you experience them. So nowadays, $1,000 for a set of 4 tires, that's standard issue, right? I mean, unless you're buying junk or something, right? So anyway, love you, Julia. Glad you're here. Anybody else? We've got this last 2 chapters of this book, not this book, a piece of this book, The 8 Pillars of Prosperity, right? By James Allen. Hopefully you've all been digging into it. I'm through some of the 8th pillar, self-reliance. And I have probably spent as much time in the dictionary as I have in the actual text, because James Allen, oh my goodness, right? So anybody who's into our book studies, Monday nights, and then I know, of course, we have Books for Britain, which happened yesterday with the amazing and awesome Mandy Anderson. Definitely take your time as you go through these last couple of chapters, because we're finishing the book this week. And look up every single word that you don't currently use in sentences, because the meanings are profound and your IQ will go up, right? Spend some time in the dictionary on this one. This is really good stuff. So anyway, love you guys. Any last call? Anybody else? Okay, so I'm going to shove some food down my throat to keep the body going, which is a terrible inconvenience, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then I'm going to get back to work. I love you guys. We'll see you back here tomorrow for Fun Friday. We do have today, just so you know, Life and Business Tools with Adrian Garner, our resident scholar, okay, who's got more experience in business and business law and contracting and stuff that I'm not expert at, okay, but he is. He's going to be here at 4:30 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. So we moved it to Thursdays, because we were getting, heavy on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, right? So now we're on Thursdays, every other Thursday. And so today is one of those days. We also backed up the time a little bit to be a bit more appealing to our friends on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. So anyway, love you guys. We'll see you tonight on Life and Business Tools, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, have a great day. Show up, go.